Wicked, part to hit theaters on November 21, 2025, and it delivered the highly anticipated conclusion to Elphaba and Glinda's story, picking up right where Part 1 left off after Elphaba's defiant flight from the Emerald City. Wicked, part to 2025, the Witches of Oz Glinda Ariana Grande, devastated and publicly shamed, is left behind in the Emerald City. Under the manipulative guidance of Madame Morrible, Ishelio, and the wizard Jeff Goldblum, Glinda is forced to become the face of the anti-Wicked Witch propaganda. She sings Thank Goodness, a poignant number that reveals the facade of her newfound popularity and the deep sorrow she feels over her shattered friendship with Elphaba and the escalating fear in Oz. She's caught in a trap laid by the wizard and Morrible. The wizard tries to persuade her to join him, offering power and legitimacy, but Elphaba, seeing the tortured Dr. Dillamond Peter Dinklage and witnessing the full extent of their cruelty, defiantly refuses. Fiyero, attempting to protect Elphaba, holds Glinda hostage to buy Elphaba time to escape. He's captured and tortured by the wizard's guards. But instead of truly melting, Elphaba dramatically melts away, leaving behind only her hat and her infamous green elixir. She exposes his frauds, revealing his lack of true magic and his manipulation of Oz for power. She stands before the citizens of Oz, a symbol of hope and goodness, yet carries the silent burden of her secret friendship with the Wicked Witch and the knowledge of Elphaba's survival. The ending is bittersweet, with themes of sacrifice, redemption, and the enduring power of friendship, even when tested by the greatest of adversities. It leaves the audience with the understanding that wickedness and goodness are far more complex than simple labels, and that the true story of Oz is one of intertwined destinies and the enduring bond between two extraordinary women. In a stunning twist, she discovers a keepsake of the wizardess that reveals his identity. He is Elphaba's true biological father, and the green elixir Elphaba's mother drank was what caused Elphaba's green skin. The wizard, stripped of his power and authority, is banished from Oz. Glinda also has Madame Morrible arrested for her crimes, finally bringing justice to her evil machinations. This is revealed to be a carefully orchestrated illusion, a fake death devised by Elphaba and the transformed Fiyero the Scarecrow, who, despite his appearance, retains his consciousness and love for her. Through a secret trapdoor, they escape Oz, finally freed to live their lives together in exile, away from the dangers of the wizard's regime. Elphaba, seeing his suffering, attempts to cast a spell to save him, but inadvertently turns him into the Scarecrow, an empty husk without a brain, completing another piece of the Oz puzzle. Fiyero, witnessing the scene, chooses his allegiance, helping Elphaba escape the Emerald City. They flee together, finally confessing their deep, unspoken love for each other in a heartfelt sequence. Fiyero Jonathan Bailey, now the captain of the guard, is also trapped in this charade, reluctantly engaged to Glinda while secretly longing for Elphaba. She plots with Morrible to lure Elphaba out of hiding, suggesting they spread a rumor that Nessa Rose is in danger. She confronts Glinda, who has already given the shoes to the newly arrived Dorothy, portrayed in brief, iconic glimpses, often from her perspective or through objects like her ruby slippers. A raw, emotional confrontation between Elphaba and Glinda erupts, with Elphaba consumed by grief and fury, blaming Glinda. Morrible, far more sinister than Glinda realizes, takes this a step further, manipulating the weather and orchestrating a cyclone that brings Dorothy Gale's house from Kansas to Oz. The house crashes down, tragically killing Nessa Rose, fulfilling her destiny as the Wicked Witch of the East. The film opens with the immediate fallout of Elphaba Cynthia Erivo defying gravity. She's a shadowed figure, actively working against the wizard's regime and freeing captive flying monkeys, some of whom she herself inadvertently created. She carries the Grimoire, delving deeper into its magic. Elphaba has Dorothy captive, using her as bait for the mob. Glinda arrives, having finally seen through Morrible's lies and the wizard's deceit, and warns Elphaba of the approaching witch hunters. In a powerful, heartbreaking scene, the two friends finally make their peace, acknowledging that their destinies have been set in motion and their paths must diverge. They perform a poignant rendition of For Good, a moment of profound forgiveness and enduring love amidst the chaos. Elphaba, now branded the Wicked Witch of the West, has retreated to the desolate western lands, continuing her clandestine fight for the animals of Oz, who are still losing their ability to speak. Nessa Rose, embittered and tyrannical, rules with an iron fist, controlling the Munchkins and keeping Bach Ethan Slater captive through a series of manipulative laws. Elphaba, attempting to truly help her sister, uses her magic to enchant Nessarose's silver shoes, granting her the ability to walk. However, this act has unintended consequences. Bach sees the shoes as a sign Nessarose no longer needs him and, emboldened, declares his love for Glinda. A major storyline unfolds as Elphaba visits her sister, Nessarose Marissa Bode, who has become the governor of Munchkinland after their father's death. Enraged and heartbroken, Nessarose tries to use the Grimoire, which she steals from Elphaba, in a fit of pique, to cast a love spell on Bach, but misreads it, accidentally shrinking his heart. Elphaba desperately intervenes, using her magic to save his life, but inadvertently transforms him into the Tin Man. Horrified by his new, unfeeling state, Bach flees, blaming Elphaba. Nessarose, in turn, blames Elphaba for all her misfortunes, cementing her own path to becoming the Wicked Witch of the East through her bitterness and the magically enhanced shoes. Elphaba, determined to expose the wizard's deception, returns to the Emerald City to free the flying monkeys. Meanwhile, Glinda is consumed by guilt and fear. Elphaba senses her sister's peril and races back, only to find Nessarose crushed and her iconic silver shoes taken. The mob of angry Ozians, fueled by Morable's propaganda and led by a now heartless Bach, the Tin Man, arrive at Elphaba's fortress, Kayamoko, intent on hunting the Wicked Witch. The film moves to the iconic confrontation at Kayamoko. As the mob closes in, Dorothy throws a bucket of water on Elphaba. Back in the Emerald City, Glinda, now fully transformed into Glinda the Good, confronts the wizard. The film concludes with Glinda fully embracing her role as the benevolent leader of Oz, dedicated to rebuilding a fair and just society.